Now the next layer is the presentation layer, and actually there's no protocols that work in the presentation layer. This is where operating services work here. And what the presentation layer does is it takes the data that's coming down from the program, goes to the application layer, then it goes down to the presentation layer, and the presentation layer will take the data and put it in the necessary format or the syntax that is standardized, like ASCII. It'll take, if it's data, then it's going to come down and put it into ASCII. It's a standardized encoding way that it doesn't matter how your system will open it. So let's say you're going to send me a document. Well, the document you'll write in, let's say, Word. And once it gets down to the presentation layer, it'll put it into, let's say, ASCII. And it gets over to my computer. My computer understands ASCII and which program to actually send it to be able to view it. Some of the standards would be JPEG, TIFF, GIF. It's all about standardizing the communication so it can go over the network and that the receiving end can understand it. So the presentation layer doesn't necessarily care about what the data says. It's just about what the syntax, the proper syntax of the data. So it's going, like I said, it's going to take that and put it into Unicode, any type of standard that needs to take place. Now at this layer also, encryption and decryption can happen, compression and decompression could take place. Now what we found, especially in the cryptography domain, is that encryption can actually happen at different levels of the network stack. For example, it can happen within the within your application if you choose for encryption. We talked about that encryption could take place like at SSL. It could take place at the network layer. So at the presentation layer, you do need to know that encryption and decryption takes place and compression and decompression. So if you choose to compress a file, this is where it's putting it into, let's say, WinZip standardized format.